The usual argument for an in-house data center is that it's cheaper. This is unlikely to be true since wholesale data center operators enjoy greater economies of scale. An in-house data center seems cheaper because many items of the budget are hidden. First up is rent. Data center is usually located next to the main office, so the floor space rent is included in the corporate overheads. Then take power. The data center power is added to the overall corporate utility bill. With security, the in-house data center relies on basic office security. This is rarely up to the standard required by data centers, i.e. it's not 24/7, no ID system, no photographic checking of ID. Then we have tier rating. Very few in-house data centers are tier 3 and many don't even have a generator backup. This is not considered an issue until the lights go out and when everyone starts asking, why didn't someone think about a generator? And finally, technical support. Since the IT team are physically located nearby, in principle they can drop their day job if a problem arises with the data center. But are they available 24/7 and can they fix the problem? It's easy to see why an in-house data center can be considered a satisfactory solution. In many cases, this has been the solution for many years and there have been no disasters. So why change? The answer is twofold. IT is becoming more complicated, so the data center is getting bigger and bigger. More power is required, the equipment is getting hotter, a small computer room is no longer sufficient. An IT outage has become more and more critical. 10 years ago, an IT outage meant that the back office was unavailable for a while, but the front office was unaffected. Nowadays, IT is the front office, so losing it could mean losing customers forever. So the cheap and nasty solution is no longer good enough. A proper tier 3 data center is needed. Despite the above, many CIOs believe that building an in-house data center works out more cost effective. Let's look at a 250 rack data center with 1 megawatt of IT power to see why. They assume a build cost of £6,500 per kilowatt, or a total cost of 6.5 million. They depreciate this over 10 years to get a figure of £650,000 per year, which works out at £2,600 per rack. Considering most colocation companies charge £7,000 to £8,000 for the same rack, this seems fantastic. But let's work out the real cost. Firstly, there is the cost of capital. Then there is equipment maintenance, rent and rates. Add in all this lot and we're now up to well over £1 million per annum, or about £4,500 per rack. But we still need to staff the data center. At a minimum, that means security and facilities management on a 24/7 basis. This will add more cost. And we should also assume some sort of data center management team. We're now at around £1.5 million per annum, or £6,000 per rack. That's still a lot cheaper than co-location. But there is one last problem. They've built a data center for 250 racks. How did they choose the number 250? Is this their current requirement? Certainly not, because if it was, they would have had no space for expansion. It is probably their forecast need over the next 10 years. Today, they probably need half that amount, say 125 racks. The actual cost per rack is double, £12,000 per rack. Of course, this number will reduce as the data center fills up. But what happens if they get to rack 251? Do they build a new data center? Asking for a budget of £6.5 million for one extra rack won't go down well. Running and planning the data center has now become a full-time job. Now that co-location option looks very attractive. You can move in tomorrow. There is no land purchase, planning permission, design and build, construction management, power installation, connectivity issues, hiring and training, implementation of processes, an application for ISO 9001, 14001 and 27001. That's all been done by the colo company. If you want 50 racks, that's okay. You pay for 50 racks. If you want 251 racks, that's okay. So, taking all these factors into account, it soon becomes apparent that outsourcing the data center requirement provides flexible, scalable, resilient and cost-effective solutions.